Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I guess you could say, a restarted playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda. So, we gotta talk. Because I looked back on stuff I did on the channel in regards to this game. I actually did a video of giving my current thoughts at the time about the game. This was like early on when it was still kind of fresh and on people's minds. And I actually then reached a point where I was ready to do a playthrough, though the reality was I really wasn't. See, here's the thing. I had played through Andromeda normal, like baseline, just by itself, vanilla Andromeda, twice, all the way through. And then I was gonna go ahead and play the third time to do the playthrough. What I didn't realize at the time was that I was probably a little burnt out on this game, especially the normal vanilla way to play the game. And it just kind of had worn on me to the point where I was just like, gosh, I don't want to have to play through this whole game again. I need a break. Especially when it came to just playing it the normal way, which, though it was an improvement for me in terms of Inquisition when it came to things like the open world stuff because of the Nomad compared to what it was like in Inquisition, there were obviously other issues. So obviously there's quite a huge elephant in the room regarding this game. And so this game came out, gosh, how long has it been now? Since it came out back in, what, 2016? I think so. It's been a while. And fortunately, some of the modding community has tried to do what they can with this, and there's even some useful tools to actually help people out when it comes to making mods for this game. There's a specific mod tool for the Frostbite engine specifically when it comes to making mods, and one for managing the mods you put for this game. Or even if you want to use it for Inquisition. Now, Inquisition has its own specific mod manager tool and mod maker tool, but you can use the I think it's called Frosty. Frosty! The Frosty mod tool for both games if you want to do so. So the tools are there. It just seems like, unfortunately, while there are quite a few mods for this game, not as much as I was hoping for. And the thing is, while there's a large amount of them, a lot of them are very out of date. Because a lot of them were being made when this game first came out, and there's really not that many that are getting kept up to date, or made more recently, or getting made new in recent times. Now, I was hoping that because of the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect Trilogy that coming out, that was going to maybe help people take another look at this game and go, you know what, let's take a look back at this one and see if we can make it any better. And I will say there are quite a few that have actually enhanced the experience. Here's part of the issue. This game is very much a technical problem. Whereas Inquisition had issues when it came to its gameplay and its design, Andromeda had issues when it came to its polish. Because when this game first came out, oh my gosh, was it a technical mess. It was such a mess when it first came out, to the point where, here's another thing. This game had an early access time period. They actually released this game as early access for people who had pre-ordered it on Origin and such. So people got to play like the first couple of hours of the game early access before the game actually came out. Turns out that was a big mistake, because what that actually did is it allowed people to find things about the game from a technical standpoint and spread it like wildfire for anybody to find and discover, and therefore discourage people from picking it up. Because, well, I really just have to bring up my face is tired, and that's all I really have to say. That one moment alone just allowed everybody to just make this game out as if it was the worst possible thing that had ever been made. I'm exaggerating, obviously, because some other things have come out in recent times, like Diablo Immortal, have been getting that kind of reputation instead of this. But what it made people think was this is such a horribly designed game from a technical standpoint. What happened to BioWare and blah, blah, blah. And I kept telling people when this game was first coming out, I was paying attention to what had been going on to BioWare at the time, and I knew that this was not the same group of people that made the first 3 games. This was a whole new group of people, a whole new team. A different division of BioWare made this game. It wasn't the same people. Casey Hudson was not part of BioWare anymore at this point. I've heard he's come back to do the future Mass Effect projects, but he did not have a hand with this game. A whole new group of people did. Now, while they may have had Liara's voice actor come back to do the voice lines for Liara in the little sound bites we pick up from her, for the most part, this is a whole new group of people that worked on this game compared to the previous Mass Effect games. And I feel like that was missed by a lot of people. They weren't paying attention to that. Some people just seem to have this thing where they see the word BioWare on that screen, and they think it's the exact same people when it's not. It's just the company name. That doesn't mean it's the same group of people that have been making some of these games that we have fallen in love with over the years. But some people just seem to not really pick up on that. But besides that, let's just say that when I discovered some of the problems and issues that this game had from a technical standpoint, I kind of was anticipating that. Because 1, this usually happens when a game first comes out. 2, when a whole new group of people are basically working on a game essentially for the first time. And when I say that, what I mean is a huge AAA title like this, because this is a Mass Effect game. This has a big name attached to it. If this didn't have the Mass Effect name attached to it, I don't think it would have been as scrutinized as it did. But because this is Mass Effect, we expect better. And because we didn't have better, it was basically ignored and cast aside, and people didn't really give it the time of day or disregard it as just this weird entry in the series that should be forgotten. And unfortunately, I think that's really sad and unfortunate, because I feel like if this game had been able to actually really given the time it needed to really shine and showcase what it had, it could, it almost feels like maybe it could have, it's a similar situation to Dragon Age 2, except that game had a year of crunch time to be made. This one, from what I can tell, they had a decent amount of time. This just wasn't really a group of people that really knew everything that they were doing. For one thing, there is a certain function that is missing from this game, which baffles my mind and is just, in my opinion, unforgivable. But what can you expect when you have a team that is working on this basically for the first time? And yes, there's also some controversial stuff about the way that they were working on this game, or apparently the direction that they were going with this game, which some people gave a label to. I never really picked up on that much, because, it's just kind of what I've come to expect from BioWare with their games, because that's just kind of how they've been for a long time. And I was just like, okay. But some people really just took an issue with it. But it's like how some people will make a bigger deal out of something. When I look at it, I'm like, where is this thing you're making such a big deal out of? I don't see it. And they're like, how do you not see it? It's right there. I'm like, that's not what I see. That's kind of how it's been, at least for me with Andromeda. People made such a bigger deal out of this and were so immensely disappointed with this. And I think it's because it seemed like their expectations for this was way too high. I went into this with very little expectation because, like I said, I had been paying attention to what had been going on at BioWare and knew this wasn't the same group of people, so why should I expect the same kind of quality from the previous games in this one? But that's what apparently a lot of people thought, because afterwards, people were acting like they were so devastated and disappointed with this. And I'm like, why? This is kind of what I was expecting, but actually, to be honest, it's not like it's a bad game. I don't think so. Others have really talked about this, and I highly encourage you guys to go check out the almost 2-hour long video that Total Biscuit made just talking about the single player. He made a separate video talking about the multiplayer, which I would say is pretty decent, except, let's be honest, nobody's really playing this game anymore to do the multiplayer, so it's not like you can get paired up with other players, because I tried, and I was sitting here for who knows how long, waiting for anyone to join. Nobody did, because, let's be honest, who's really playing this game anymore? Other than some people trying this out for the first time after having gone through the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect Trilogy for the first time. And then they were like, okay, let me try out this Andromeda game I heard about. And that's basically it. The single player is the only thing that's really getting in touch with this. Even though that function is still there and still getting supported, it's not really worth it anymore. So, yeah. Now, in regards to being able to mod this game, to say that I've had a technical adventure when it comes to trying to mod this game and test it out and see how it's going to work out, to say I've had some issues, and, well, let's just say that would be kind of an understatement, because, oh boy, this has been quite something. I will say, though, one of the things I love about the tool for the mod manager for this game, it lets you know exactly what mods conflict with what. So if you have a bunch of mods and they start conflicting with each other, it will actually tell you which mods conflict with what. And I love that. There are other mod managers that just simply do not do that. And I'm so glad it lets me know, oh, so if I want this mod to work, I have to get rid of this mod or disable this mod. That's wonderful. That needs to be a feature in any mod manager going forward. It has to be. It's so helpful. So anyways, yes, I've been testing out, trying to get this up and running, and also testing to see how it runs, playing through the game on my own time, off camera with these mods to see how it was going to work. It also allowed me to be able to kind of test out what exactly I would want to play in regards to this playthrough that would be enjoyable for me and probably also enjoyable for you guys to watch as well. And the reality is I could do at least 2 playthroughs of this game, because while some things are going to be the same thing, there are going to be some different choices and different outcomes you can have, not to mention different lines of dialogue, because I've played through this both as Scott and as Sarah, and there's enough notable dialogue that it feels different for each playthrough. You know, the fact, for one thing, I like that the default first names are actually their canon names that are said in the game. You remember how big a deal people made out of Fallout 4 being able to use your actual name if you put it in, and then you hear the robot say your name? People made a big deal about that. They were really happy about that. Now, this doesn't really do that. It only says Scott or Sarah. So it basically encourages you to just stick with those names and not custom names or anything. And I'll be honest, trying to create a custom writer in this game is quite an adventure, because, well, sometimes you may look at them and go, oh, that looks fine. When you then see them in action, like moving and talking and moving their mouths, you then start to go, oh, because let's be honest, the big elephant about this game, of course, is the facial animations. To this day, people still think of this game, but only when they think of the joke about Addison saying, sorry, my face is tired, which I tried to point out the first time I tried to do a playthrough of this game, which I'm going to go ahead and leave up for those of you who want to see that. If you want to get my initial thoughts on the game at the time, I have those videos still up on the channel. And I try to point out that they did try to at least fix some of those problems that people were pointing out. But it's just so funny watching streams and videos from people when this game first came out, and just watching their reactions, not just their own reactions, but the reactions of their chats and such. Like, it was just like, oh my goodness. Sometimes I feel like we all need to really just calm down and stop being just so over the top about our reactions to these things. Like, really, is it really that big a deal? But this is just how we are these days, especially when it comes to the gaming community and how, well, I guess cynical probably the gaming companies, the developing companies, have made us, because they have kind of caused us to feel this way with all the times that they have disappointed us and let us down. So it's been 50 minutes, and I've just been talking because, let's be honest, I felt like this had to be talked about. So before we actually get underway here, let me go ahead and share with you guys the mods that I have applied in order to be, before we actually do this playthrough. And there's quite a few of them. There's one that I'm actually using just for the beginning of this game, and then when we get past a certain point, I'm going to disable it because apparently it can cause some issues. So, the mods that I have enabled at this point, and of course this is subject to change: Road Rage Mobility, Hypermobility, more skill points per level. There is a Romance for All mod, which I was testing out. I've disabled it because we're going to be playing as Scott, and we're going to be romancing Cora, because Cora's my girl, even though I do also love PB, but we're romancing Cora. Massive inventory size. New armor for Cora, Asari Under Armor, large ponytail bangs, blonde Cora's, custom texture, blonde ponytail fix, cryopod all-in-one rewards increase, research no-level requirements, free remnant decryption keys, stack 1,000. We had the blueprints, profiles reworked, enhanced statistics page, faster Kadara doors, balanced guns, default Scott tweak, Asari tweaks, Gil tweak, Lexi tweak, Reyes tweak, PB tweak 2.0, Strays, no penalties fusion mod, blue tech armor, Turian makeover, better gray market connections, Liam Hair Begone Combat Edition, max health, veteran no visor, plain athletic wear, negative stats are positive, default Sarah with my complexion retexture, shut up Sam all in one, general Oggs rebalanced, Suvi Longhair, multiplayer powers and single player, SK headphones be gone, Young Sloan, N7 retrofit X Tech recharge speed, quick loot all in one, melee weapon boost, no profile swap cooldown, both power evolutions, better loot, blue scanner and Omni tool including combat Omni, N7 shirt female and male rider, Strays God of War weapon mod, permanent tech armor, audio log positional audio fix, mark all as red button fix, broken initiative helmet prologue logo fix, journal exclamation notification mix, new armor for PB, NPC on Under Armor as casual, female Angara, Ket complexions, universal complexion, smooth planet approach, male universal complexion, Amy complexion, Anna complexion, remnant reborn armor overhaul, mod extensions icon fix, Pathfinder chest armor fix, HUD overhaul, compass without background, shorter landing and departure cinematics, and there you go. So, what's interesting is that they've also added an online site very similar to the Dragon Age Keep, allowing you to be able to basically create a tapestry, similar to the one you can make in Dragon Age, but for Mass Effect. It also gives you a tool on that site to create your own custom rider if you want to go ahead and try and do so. So, for example, it would allow you to create it on that site, and then you could be able to actually import it over to your game, so that way you can quickly just have it ready to go here when you select your rider. And that's probably going to be something I do if I get around to doing a second playthrough of this game where I play as Sarah. However, for this first one, we're going to be playing as Scott, and we're going to be playing as the default Scott, because like I said, trying to create a custom rider can be interesting, trying to see whether or not the facial animations are actually going to work, which sometimes they just outright don't work all that well. So, I did find a custom Sarah rider, which I liked, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go ahead and go with that. However, we won't be going it for this playthrough when I'm playing as Scott. We'll go ahead and go with that when we end up playing as Sarah. But this time we're going to be playing as Scott. As I said, we're also going to be playing as the default appearance, though as I also mentioned, there is a mod, in fact there's multiple mods, to tweak around the default. So if you don't quite like the default, there are mods that allow you to kind of tweak around the appearance if you want. So I mentioned how I was testing the gameplay to see what I would want to do So let me kind of go over this because I do like how they tried to also add more to your backstory, but also in terms of the gameplay as well. Like during your Alliance military service, you focused on learning everything you could about weapons and tactics. You were effectively designated biotic during your Alliance military tenure, asserting your cohorts with your ability to control Mass Effect fields, allowing you to start with Throw, Singularity, and Barrier as well. Technician, in case you want to be, a engineer. The year lets you start with either Energy Drain, Annihilation Team Support, Scrapper, the first soldier in the thick of it, mostly according to Alliance military protocol. So Charge, basically this gives you, it looks like, that's the Vanguard one. And here's the thing, I have been testing out with each of them a full-on tech tree run and a full-on biotic run, though it ended up being more Vanguard than Adept. And I gotta say, if you thought Vanguard was fun in Mass Effect 3, whew, boy, did they make it even more fun in this game. Because, boy, did mobility take a big upgrade in this. See, here's the thing. I don't think I've ever had more fun with the gameplay of Mass Effect than I have in this game. If there's one thing I will talk positively like crazy about this game, it's the gameplay. Like, the gameplay is just so fun, especially when it comes to all the extra mobility. I like mobility. I was very much with, when Total Biscuit talked about that, about how they went away from the use of shield cover gameplay to just, mobility and speed gameplay. I'm very much into that. So this was right up my alley. And the tech one was just kind of It was okay, not as much. Honestly, I was like, oh, okay. I was tempted to go with the Sentinel instead because of the tech armor. So I think we're just going to go with Scrapper so I can go ahead and get Biotic Charge right off the bat. And we are going to, of course, stick with Scott Ryder so you guys can actually hear them say his name. And we're going to stick with Default Sarah as well. I'm going to go ahead and keep the Inherit Alec Ryder. Actually, you know what? We'll just have him stick with the default appearance instead. Never mind. Because there's really no difference. Since we're using the default appearances anyway, may as well let him keep his default appearance. In my opinion, his default appearance is just fine anyway. I like how the custom history automatically sticks with the FemShip that we played. Very nice. And of course, we can upload the character data to the site. There it is right there. It even mentions it, the archives website. So anyways, what do you guys say we finally actually get this game started? So we are going to do narrative to make the gameplay as easy as possible, just so I can be able to focus on showcasing you guys the story. Because even though I have mods to make me even stronger in gameplay, yeah, let's just focus on story and not gameplay.
Every great moment in our history began with a dream. Each bold leap forward was achieved by those willing to do anything to attain it. We are, all of us, leaving behind families, homes, the very birthplace of our species. Some for discovery, to see the unknown. Others for a new start. But today, whatever our reasons, we take the first steps toward a new future for humanity. Today, we begin to make our dream reality.
Sorry, turn the mic down. I was saying that, as usual, I'll let you guys go ahead and pause and read this if you want, because this can disappear pretty quickly. It's kind of a generic text, not really referencing what was going on in the previous games, but we know. Like, that scene showed there was basically taking place before all the events of Mass Effect 3 happened. "634 years later." And boy, just wait for all the jokes and references here about, boy, it feels like it's been 600 years since we talked to each other. I remember the first time I played this, I thought this was similar to the beginning of the Alien movies, where it's like, oh man, it's been so long, we've been in this cryogenic sleep.
We made it. Deep breaths. You're gonna want to take it easy.
I've been taking it easy for 600 years.
Ryder, Scott, Recon Specialist, Pathfinder Mission Team.
Pathfinder team, eh? The ones finding us a home.
Can you make it somewhere tropical? Nice, warm ocean, summer year-round?
How about we get him a cup of coffee first?
The selection process saw the Andromeda Initiative evaluate thousands of potential habitable planets within the galaxy.
Scott Ryder, let's get you checked out. Look here.
After discovering an unusually high ratio of potential candidates, or golden worlds, the Helios cluster was selected as our destination. Now you are a part of the first wave of ARCs arriving in Andromeda, our new home for humanity.
Makes it sound so easy, doesn't it?
Sorry, I just want to take a moment because I always forget this woman's name, this actress, because, well, let's just say this was made around the time that Game of Thrones was very popular. And so companies were taking advantage of its popularity by utilizing the actors from that show in other work, such as, for example, Lexi here is voiced by Natalie Dormer, who you may remember as Lady Marjorie in Game of Thrones. And there's at least one other voice actor in this who is also from Game of Thrones. But yeah, she's the one I was just like, oh, hey, Marjorie. When I heard her, I was just like, I knew that voice right away. So yeah, this is the new system that they decided to do here. They tried this out in Inquisition first, because Inquisition came out before this. So I was like, oh, okay, so they're kind of trying to do this thing where they're trying to give you more flexibility with how you want to characterize the character you're playing, with tones and emotions and feelings on how you say things. So you can either go for the more serious, professional version. By the way, if you're not seeing the thing that tells you what they are, that's because I turned the tutorials off. So the just straight up professional, or the just sarcastic, funny, like, hey, I'm going to make some jokes and have some fun. So I've been messing around with both versions on the two different writers that I was testing this game on. And, you know, they're fine for what they are, though clearly one will imply one choice over another, so sometimes you got to be careful, even if you're sticking with a certain type of tone the entire way. So sometimes you definitely got to be paying attention to what is probably going to be said here compared, you know, in response to what is said.
I hope not. I signed up for a little adventure before we settle down.
Well, buckle up. Sounds like you'll get your wish.
Yeah?
Over here now? The Pathfinder wants you all on your feet right away. He said mission ready within the hour.
Any idea why?
No, but I'm guessing that's where your adventure comes in? Okay, everything checks out. Just one more thing before I send you on your way. Let's test your SAM implant. Sam, are you monitoring? Sam, are you online?
Yes, Dr. Tapero. Good morning, Ryder. Are you feeling well?
I'll talk about Liam later. Yeah. And by the way, I've heard what some people have said about Sam and the way that the Sam voice was designed. I didn't really notice it until someone brought it up, and I was just like, huh? Because to me, I never really knew that there was a specific way that is supposed to sound. But if that's what you hear, okay, whatever. That's all I heard was what sounded like an AI talking to me with that kind of like cybernetic type of AI voice, kind of similar to how Edie used to talk, but whatever.
I just need a second to get my bearings. What's this about my implant?
A routine check. After being in stasis, we want to make sure the connection's still live.
As the team's mission computer, your well-being is my primary concern.
Assuming the implants work as advertised, Sam sees what you see, in theory. We won't know for sure until we get you in the field. How are you feeling otherwise?
I'm ready to get to it.
Readings confirmed. I detect an increased level of adrenaline in your system. The neural implant is functioning properly.
Caffeine always did make me jumpy.
You're all done. Let's get you on your way. Though you may want to hang around while we revive your sister, it always helps to see a familiar face.
I don't like the sound of that.
Watch the stasis pod!
What's happening?
Gravity's out.
Just hang on!
Engineering, report.
Try to brace yourself.
Gravity and cryobay is offline.
Careful of the syringe!
I'm almost inside. Hold on.
This is Cora. I'm at the cryo bay. Brace for a reset. Everyone okay?
I think so.
What happened?
We're not sure. Sensors are scrambled. But it's good to see you're up. Feels like centuries since we spoke.
This is the Pathfinder. Mission teams continue preparations. Cora, Riders, report to the bridge.
You heard him. Let's get...
We have a problem over here. It's Sarah Ryder.
What's wrong?
So, I want to point something out here. I mentioned this earlier. I just want to point this out. By the way, you can probably notice some of the mods already work, like that one up there. Like I mentioned, huge item limit, because who wants to worry about inventory space? I mean, really. There is something missing here. And I really want to point this out because, to me, this is just absolutely unforgivable. So let's take a look at the controls. Let's go to key bindings. On foot, Nomad, Galaxy Map UI. Okay. I'm going to scroll through these just so you guys can be able to look at what is here and try to guess what is missing. It's something kind of important, and it's something that has been in games, especially RPGs, on not even just on PC, but also even on consoles, since there actually have been versions of these games on consoles that actually did have this feature. And for some reason, it's not here. Have you noticed it yet? Have you spotted it yet? We're almost done. Almost done. Did you guess it? There is no quick save in this game. Let me say that again. There is no quick save button, function, feature in this game at all. You can save your game. Yes, you can go here and you can actually save. However, For one thing, you'll notice it actually doesn't show that. It just has me have the load option here at the moment, probably because the option to actually save your game is not ready yet, because they want you to progress in the game before you can actually start making saves. But manual save and autosave are the only saves in this game. Now, this may not be a big deal to some of you, but to me, the quick saves have been in games for decades. It's been a feature for a long time. How often has someone wanted to do a quick save and then try something and then just quickly reload after they tried it? That's been a staple in games for years. And this team of people that made this game, somehow, amongst all of them, not a single one of them thought, you know what, we need to add a quick save feature. Because it's a quick save. Everybody uses quick save in games. No? I'm just so baffled that there is no quick save function in this game. There was in the other Mass Effect games, they were in the Dragon Age game, so it's not like the people at BioWare don't know about it. But somehow it slipped past all the people working on this. And somehow there is no quick save function in this game. That is unforgivable. That is just absolutely astonishing to me that somehow they would do that. They made sure there was an option here to jump to the multiplayer. Of course they did. Probably because that's exactly what EA wanted to make sure was in there. But a quick save? No, forget about that. Who uses quick save in these games anyhow, right? Ugh. Sorry, I had to rant about that. I had to. So yeah, the save, that's it. The save game button right here. This is the only one. But it only allows you to do so at certain points in the game.
I don't know.
Anyways, I just really had to point that out. Also, you'll notice the changes on the UI. That's another mod I found, which I thought was really, really good. Because this way, it allows you to immediately look over and see, okay, there's something over there, there's something over there. I cannot tell you how many times when I was playing the baseline vanilla version of this game, how frustrating it would be to try and figure out where certain things were, because it just would not really let me see where they were. In my opinion, this is a much better UI system. And I'm so thankful to the person who made this mod for this idea. It's so helpful. Thank you so much. You'll also notice the little Omni tool she has is different, because normally it was yellow. And you'll even see Riders is the same thing. I just like the light blue look to it much better. I think it's much nicer to look at, easier on the eyes. Sometimes the yellow, it can just kind of be a little harmful to the eyes at certain points, at least for me. It may be that way for other people. I just find the color blue to just be a little bit more appealing to look at when it comes to those kinds of high-tech, flashy types of items. And the same can go for the armor as well. By the way, you'll probably notice that it's not just the hair change for Cora here. It also came with this armor. The idea was that because she was an Asari commando, that she basically trained as an Asari commando, that she would wear an armor that's kind of very, very similar to what an Asari commando would actually wear. That she would kind of still be embracing that type of lifestyle. And I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Scott.
Is my sister okay?
Sarah's fine. Her vitals are strong, but the revival procedure was interrupted.
Again, the fact that they only have these voice lines in here if you have your writers named Scott and Sarah is a little frustrating compared to what we got in Fallout 4, but it's a nice start, and plus, it's like, oh, okay, it's cool to hear them say that. When you pick custom names and they just say writer or don't say your actual first name, it can be a little awkward. So it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's a mixed bag, which is just a great term for this game all around, isn't it?
I don't like the sound of that.
Don't worry. It just means the process could take a bit longer than usual. Sam?
My connection to Sarah's implant was suspended. However, her pulse, respiration, and brain activity are all normal.
To be on the safe side, we'll need to keep her in a low-level coma for a while, then let her body regain consciousness naturally. She'll be fine.
Glad to hear it.
Thanks, Lexi. Keep us updated. Ryder, I'll wait for you at the door, whenever you're ready to go.
How do you want to handle this?
Don't worry, Ryder. We'll take care of her. She'll make it.
It sounds amazing, doesn't it? Right up until you lose gravity.
Hi there. I'm Jian Garson, founder of the Andromeda Initiative. I'm here to welcome you to a whole new galaxy. The good news is, the hard part's over. We're here. If you have any questions now, just ask.
Oh, how amusing. She thinks the hard part's over when in fact, no. This was essentially the easy part, which I know sounds weird, but considering what we're about to be dealing with, no, the hard stuff is coming up later.
The Pathfinder is responsible for exploring and assessing new worlds for outpost placement and settlement. Each Ark is led by a Pathfinder who represents their species. The active duty Pathfinder assigned to Ark Hyperion is Alec Ryder. Current duty roster shows you are assigned to the Pathfinder Mission Team, Specialist Ryder.
Need an update on our sensor array. Please report in as soon as possible.
Your current location is Ark Hyperion, housing the human population. Ark Parchero, the Solarian vessel, confirmed departure in 2185. The Asari ship, Ark Lucinia, confirmed departure that same year, as did the Turian Ark Natanus, embarking in 2185.
I'll talk about the DLC that we were supposed to get but didn't later on when we get there, so don't worry. I'll talk about that.
The Andromeda Initiative encompasses all colonization efforts, including Arks, Pathfinders, outposts, and the central support hub, the Nexus. The current location of the Nexus is unknown. Status of outposts are unknown.
I'm Jian Garson, founder of the initiative. I think it's important we take a moment to reflect on the principles that brought all of us together. It started with a vision of a better future, a vision that you shape. Life in Andromeda can be anything we dare to dream, and I'm proud to help make those dreams come true. Drop me a note sometime. I'd love to hear how we're doing.
It's going to be a little hard to do.
The selection process saw the Andromeda Initiative evaluate thousands of potential habitable planets within the galaxy. After discovering an unusually high ratio of potential candidates, or golden worlds, the Helios cluster was selected as our destination. Now you are a part of the first wave of Arks arriving in Andromeda, our new home for humanity. Once the Pathfinder team's assessment is complete, Habitat 7 has been selected as the most likely candidate for colonization. At present, Ark Hyperion has arrived in the Helios cluster. Further mission updates are offline due to technical difficulties. As recon specialist, you are tasked with supporting the authentication of Golden World sites through exploration, mapping, and scientific analysis. Currently, you are to report for duty on the command bridge.
Be advised the sensor array has gone dark.
Did the world... Hey there! Hell of a wake-up call, huh? Didn't expect that first thing out of stasis.
Makes two of us. Hang in there.
Enjoy your nap, Ryder? Don't think I'll need sleep for the rest of my life.
Maybe another decade or two wouldn't have hurt.
Right. Talk to you later.
After a 600-year voyage, the good news is we're exactly where we're supposed to be. We've arrived in the Helios Cluster, Andromeda Galaxy, year 2819. All stasis medical personnel should report for duty immediately. Give the Pathfinder mission team revival priority, and prep its members for field reconnaissance. Reports of an unusual celestial phenomenon in the cluster are being investigated. Updates to follow. Captain Dunn. We'll meet here in a bit.
Gravity. Morning, Ryder. Or afternoon. Or I don't know. Good to see you, Ryder. Sorry, still waiting for some coffee.
Engineering, be advised.
That's a message from Jian Garson. It's not like we already haven't gotten a couple of those before.
You ready?
What's wrong?
Got a surge in power readings.
Hey, up here! Whatever hit the Ark fried everything. We have to balance the power load or it could explode.
But we don't know where the fault is.
Ryder could find it. He has a scanner. Quick, Ryder, use it to locate the vault.
On it.
I'll try to get readings on the second
Relay 2C shows damage from a temperature spike.
Found it! Bad relay. Ryder, can you go reset it? There, it's reset. Let's do it. Rerouting the turret now. The grid's recovering.
It's working!
Readings are in the green.
Thank God. That could have been the end of everyone in the cryo bay.
Good job, Ryder. Now we can get to the tram.
Should probably take the time to go over these when I can. After all, I'm sure some of these have some very interesting and useful information.
That was close. Barely in Andromeda and we're already scrambling.
The adventure begins.
Not sure your dad'll see it that way. Go ahead and take us to the bridge.
Helm control, report. We're drifting. Flight controls aren't responding.
First priority is stopping these outages.
Mainline power's been knocked out. We're on reserves, Captain. They won't last.
What's our position?
Unknown. We lost telemetry.
Sam, we need eyes out there.
Attempting to adjust sensor array.
Alec, please. You may be Pathfinder, but this is my ship.
Captain, the protocol's clear. In the absence of communication with the Nexus or the other arcs, we proceed to our appointed Golden World. Solid ground.
If it's even out there. Nobody said anything about running into an energy cloud, and that's just a wild guess what we hit. Alec, I need to assess the damage. Stop the bleeding. We've got 20,000 people asleep on this ship. Let's give them a chance to wake up.
Can you blame her?
My father's got a point, though. Solid ground sounding pretty good right now.
Yeah, but...
Pretty good. Isn't good enough.
Yes, sir.
We're coming through.
My God. Is that our Golden World?
That's Habitat 7. New Earth, if we're lucky. All of our long-range scans told us it was in the green zone. Perfect for human settlement.
It doesn't even look the same.
We don't know how bad it is yet. Still seems like it's our best shot.
Maybe. There's just a lot on the line.
Sam?
The energy from the phenomenon is damping our sensors. Planetary conditions are unknown.
We're marooned. 20,000 souls adrift at sea. And when the power runs out, and stays out, we need to know if that's safe harbor.
And if it's not?
As Pathfinder, it'll be my job to find an alternative. It's what we trained for. But if this goes well, we're already home.
All right, just make it quick.
Harper, the rest of the team should be awake by now. Have them spin up 2 shuttles. Planet Fallen 30.
Yes, sir.
A stubborn one, isn't he?
He cares in his own way. Enough to give him a chance.
I suppose you're right. He is our Pathfinder. If this doesn't work out, we'll need him more than ever. I need an ETA on our sensor repairs. We're blind out here.
My sister's gonna hate that she missed this.
Are all the riders adrenaline junkies?
I guess it's in her blood. She beat me into the world by 1 minute. Couldn't wait to get started.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure Sarah will pull through.
When she does, she's gonna want stories.
So, let's get out there and find her some. Right. You'll want to get your helmet. And maybe stop at the Good Luck Rock before we go.
The what?
It's an old superstition of your dad's.
Analysis indicates alkali feldspar and quartz, commonly known as granite.
Still can't save.
We skip.
Golden World site verification, reconnaissance and mapping of unknown territories, scientific analysis and discovery of new phenomenon, potential first contact with extraterrestrials, establishing diplomatic relations with local inhabitants, and general support of settlement outposts.
This is the captain. I still need an update on our sensor array. Please report in as soon as possible.
Looks like Dad's already suited up. Hang in there, Sarah.
In the event any member of the Pathfinder team encounters intelligent alien life, it is imperative that first contact protocols be strictly observed. The Andromeda Initiative holds the principles of peace and cooperation among our highest ideals. Aggressive action against extraterrestrials is only permitted when hostile intent is clearly demonstrated, and Pathfinder team members are at an obvious risk of injury or death. Keep that in mind for later.
Hey, Ryder.
It's Kirkland, right?
Yeah. I think we met just before the Hyperion left Earth. Not sure if you know Greer.
Hi there. Your dad say anything about what's going on?
Looks like we're already home.
That's a relief. With everything that's been happening, I wasn't sure. Guess I can unpack my luggage.
I get dibs on any islands we find.
See you guys on the ride down.
How's that for dead reckoning?
Got it.
That should do it.
The Pathfinder is now requiring sidearms. I've opened the armaments locker.
We expecting trouble, Sam?
A precaution. Please arm yourself, Ryder.
Ryder?
Hey, Fisher, how's it going?
I heard a rumor from the bridge that your dad and the captain aren't seeing eye to eye on this.
She wasn't thrilled with the idea of the expedition, but my dad won her over.
Glad Dunn came around. Your dad's the N7 here. He's got the most experience. And the best aim. I go wherever he goes.
Hope I won't need this.
You never know. Now let's get to the shuttles.
Good luck, Rock, huh?
Your dad was mountain climbing back on Earth. It caught him from falling. Way things are going today, we'll need any luck we can get.
Yeah.
Shuttle teams, prep for departure in 5.
So just another boring day at the office, huh?
If it was, this wouldn't be any fun. I can't wait to find out what's down there.
I know what you mean. I always wondered what it was like when explorers crossed the ocean. Nothing but stars and dead reckoning to guide them.
And a map that said, "Here be dragons."
Well, if they made it, we can too. And maybe see a dragon along the way.
Never know. Let's keep an eye out.
And our distance.
On that note, time to get to the shuttle.
Dr. Carlyle, with everything going on, I think the Ark needs you more than we do.
Pathfinder wants a medic on hand, and if that is home down there, I'm happy to knock on the door.
If it's what we hope it is, it'll be one for the history books. You got a quote ready? One small step?
I'm pretty sure your dad will handle that honor.
All right, team, button it up. We leave in 5.
Sir, we broke out the weapons as requested.
Anything we should know about?
Seemed prudent given the situation. We'll be short-handed with Sarah out. I heard what happened. Your sister's strong. She'll make it.
We bet on whose boots would hit the ground first. This isn't how I wanted to win.
Well, knowing Sarah, she'll want to go double or nothing on who climbs the tallest mountain. Don't let it get you down. I need you sharp.
I understand.
Your mom would have been proud of both of you.
And yes, that is Clancy Brown. The great Clancy Brown voicing Alec Ryder.
I chose each of you for the Pathfinder team, not just because you're talented and passionate, but because you're dreamers, like me. We dream of exploring the unknown, of finding the edge of the map, and then discovering what lies beyond. When people look back on this, and they will, they'll remember we didn't give up. That we kept dreaming, that our first few faltering steps in Andromeda were the beginning of everything they know. We only get one chance to be first. So, let's go make history.
Been waiting 600 years for this.
Archive Hyperion, this is Shuttle 1. Switching to manual guidance.
Shuttle 2, taking your lead.
Good luck, Pathfinder team.
I'll talk more about Clancy Brown as Alec Ryder later.
You're on point.
Wow, will you look at that?
Whatever it is, it stopped the Hyperion in its tracks.
It appears to be an unstable mass of dark energy.
If you say so.
Steer clear of it.
Getting some chop here.
Gravity anomalies detected.
See if I can even it out. Stomach would appreciate that. We're clear. Accelerating to cruising speed.
Ryder, we didn't have a chance to meet back in the Milky Way. Name's Liam Costa, Security and Response Specialist.
Good to meet you, Liam.
Hard to believe we're finally doing this.
Sure beats reading the brochures.
Beginning our deceleration. Planet's dead ahead. Hang on. Initiating atmospheric entry.
Here we go!
A flight guidance is scrambled. It'll pass. We're through.
Holy.
Shuttle 2, are you seeing this?
Copy that. Doesn't look like a golden world from here.
Ionization levels are rising.
Stay on course to the landing zone.
Oxygen levels are below minimum human requirements.
There are rocks floating in the air.
We had this all worked out.
Keep it tight, Shuttle 2.
The mountains are floating.
Look, port side.
That has to be advanced engineering.
Hyperion, this is the Pathfinder. We've got evidence of an alien civilization.
Has anyone seen us?
What if they're not friendly?
We stick to contact protocol. No use of deadly force unless hostile intent is clear.
Shit, ionization this fight. Lightning strike! We lost control! Shuttle 2 declaring an emergency! We've got a fire! Leo! Hang on! Brother!
Acceleration increasing.
No kidding!
Your jump jet is malfunctioning.
Get it working!
Approaching terminal velocity.
Sam!
This is Ryder. Come in. Hyperion, Sam, anyone there?
Save your breath, Ryder. Sam's offline. Comlink's trashed. I'm surprised we aren't too.
Did the others make it?
I don't know. It was all a blur. Shuttle split in two. This is like some nightmare.
Yeah. No way this is home.
Looks like we're gonna find some high ground. See if anyone else is alive. Come on. Ryder, how's your survival training?
I've seen my share of troubles. Nothing crazy, but...
Well, crazy just found us. Those rocks out there are floating.
Terra Incognita.
Some of these plants look like tentacles. Is the water here even water?
Oh my goodness. I think this at least auto-saved here, so...
Structures we saw on the way in? Who could survive in a place like this?
Not sure we want to find out.
Okay, I guess we'll just cut it off here because it's been over an hour. And when we return, we will be exploring this new home of ours. And I may share some other codex stuff here. The fact that you're still not able to save at this point. I'm sorry, the save thing is just something that I'm not sure if I've ever gotten over. So, anyways, stay tuned.